Sludge, how you do, buckaroos? How the heck are you? I'm Tom the Whiskey Whisperer as we approach, well, here we are at St. Patrick's Day. And despite appearances, this isn't old fashioned. Why isn't it a rocks glass with a big cube, Tom? Because I don't like them that way. But actually, if you look up the earliest drinks, it was traditionally served, maybe not in a coupe, but it was traditionally served neat. The big cube thing, that's only been within the last, I don't know, 20, 30 years. That's kind of a new development. But I do prefer the drink. I do prefer the drink neat, which very well chilled, but in a coupe, or if you want to use a rocks glass, that's fine. But I just don't like ice in the glass. However, I went a long way around the barn to tell you it really is an old fashioned. And I'm calling this the King Brian Old Fashioned, partly due to, well, Irish folklore. King Brian was the king of the leprechauns, and of course, the movie Darby O'Gill, Little People. King Brian was the king of the leprechauns, and my Boston head brewer Brian. So I did take our King Brian Irish Stout, and I reduced. I started with 16 ounces and reduced it down to 4 ounces. I then made a simple syrup, sugar water, but I used turbinado sugar. So I used 4 ounces, 4 ounces of the reduction, added about 20 ounces of the simple to it, and it still came out to be the darkest simple I've ever made. It looks jet black, even though I've added stuff to it. But here, what I've done is I've used the O'Neill's Irish whiskey, and I left it too far away for me to go add. O'Neill's is a rather inexpensive Irish whiskey. I found it at Total Wine here in town. And the bottom line is you can make this with any Irish whiskey you want. If you want to go further up the food chain, do what you got to do. I don't have a problem with that. But I wanted to start here first before I did go up the food chain with it. And I got to be honest with you, this 5-year-old Irish at only $14.99 to $7.50 it ain't bad. In fact, as far as blended Irish goes, I in my opinion, it's every bit as good as those names that are a lot more than $14.99. Yeah, I really enjoy this one. I was kind of surprised because they had this one for $14.99, and they had the 175 for $27.99. So I thought about buying the big one, but I thought, well, let's get this one because I'm really not sure. I don't want to be stuck with a 175 of whiskey I don't like, but I may go back to that store tomorrow and buy that 175 because it is nice for, again, cocktails. If you want to do straight shots or drink neat, it is good enough to drink neat. It's not the most nuanced Irish I've ever had, and personally, I prefer a single malt. But again, for the price point, it ain't bad. So slunch it. So I did something here I rarely do, and in fact never do, is I triple garnished. Every time I use a coupe, whether I'm doing it in old fashioned or a Manhattan, I always drop a dark cherry in it. Dark cherry always goes to the bottom. But then I didn't know I wasn't sure what garnish to go with this cocktail. So I went with a sprig of thyme and a lemon peel, not an orange peel. Again, partly because of the aromatics, and I have a lot of different bitters to go. But again, trying to complete a flavor profile, if you will. I used lemon bitters because I thought that would really complement again that stout reduction, adding that lemon. So that's why I went with the lemon peel rather than the standard orange for an old fashioned. And it does work because you get those lemon aromas bounce off those dark concentrated stout notes nicely. So I got to be honest. I love this. We knew you were going to say that, Tom. Yeah, I try to be objective. I really do, but this really is delicious. I don't make my old fashions as sweet as a lot of folks. For me, it took me a long time to warm up to the drink because every time I tried to order one out, it just came back to me way too sweet. And I've got a couple places in town that I can go to when I do order an old fashioned. They will serve it to me this way in a coupe. Just can you just give it to me? Can you just chill the damn thing, strain it off into a coupe? I don't want a big freaking ice cube. But there are a couple places in town that know me. And on the rare occasion I do order an old fashioned, they understand and they're willing to do that. Some places aren't. Uh, Boy, that is delicious, though. That really is delicious. But again, what I was getting at though is, and I kind of went a long way around the barn there, and I got off track. Is I don't like my old fashions as sweet as most. So when I do order one out, yeah, I have to say, can you just take that simple or that sugar cube? I want a little bit less, or however you do it. I do prefer a simple to a sugar cube because you can muddle to your heart's content. You can, but you're not going to get that grit out of the drink. But I've talked to those. Let's say under 40s. I was going to say under 30s. Let's say under 40s. A lot of them like that gritty drink for whatever reason. For me, it's a texture issue. I don't dig it. I don't know how grit can ever be pleasant. That's just me, I guess. But I do like the simple, so I tend to ask a little bit less. Oh man, that is really good though. I gotta tell you. But again, what I was getting at is I do like mine not as sweet as most. So what I have in here is about 2.5 ounces of the whiskey, about a half ounce simple. Some may want this sweeter than I made it for myself. I just want to feel that, I don't want my drink to be sweet, but I just want to, especially with a specialty simple like this, I want to know that it's in there, but I don't want it to be overly sweet. And I'll be honest, even at 4 ounces to 20-ish ounces, that simple isn't rather sweet. You can really taste that concentrated stout, which is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to bring some in tomorrow and let my boss taste it. I hope they'll like it because I would love to put a drink like this on the menu. Oh, but see, with those lemon bitters and that little bit of lemon peel there really plays against those very strong stout notes. And again, I added that thyme for kind of an Irish presence. A lot of most, if not all, but many Irish dishes call for thyme. Oh, gosh, that really is good. Man, I'm liking that more than I anticipated. It really is delicious. Again, I may go up the food chain with the Irish just to see what another Irish would do, but I've got two single malts with me. And I don't know if I want to do a single malt like this. But I got to be honest with this inexpensive Irish. I mean, damn, this is really tasty. What I do like about this whiskey, in all honesty, it's only $14.99. But what I do like about it is there's no harsh notes. There is none. I mean, there's no burn. It's just an 80 proof whiskey, but without mentioning names, you know what two whiskeys I'm talking about. It doesn't have what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to use the word smooth, but yes, I feel like the flavor profile comes together better for me anyway than those other two that are in the store that I bought this was $14.99. One of them was $18.99. The other was $20.99. And I got to be honest, I do prefer the flavor profile of this one. distilled and bottled by West Cork Distillery. If you have any products from them, their West Cork products, especially their single malt products, are insane. But I got, again, for a blended Irish, this one doesn't disappoint, especially for the price point. So there you go. Anyways, I digress. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and there are folks. I've got a friend. It's about 40-ish. And he does prefer that big cube because he wants that drink very cold from start to finish. And that's fine. For me, I don't need it ice cold from start to finish, right? If I've chilled my drink correctly, if I've chilled my glass, it's going to stay cold enough from start to finish. My problem with that big ice cube is even with minimal meltage, you're going to change that drink. You're going to get some water in there. I mean, especially if it takes you 15, 20 minutes to drink that, yeah, you've got a lot of melt off going on there. And I just don't like that. I'd rather have my drink warm up. And I'm not worried about it warming up because one, I've chilled it correctly, right? I've stirred, I haven't shaken, I've chilled my glass, and I've used good ingredients. So I'm not worried about it warming up because it's going to taste fine from start to finish, even though at finish it's not going to be as cold as when it started. So anyway, one more title and feeling. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and oh, that is delicious, man. All around good guy, and happy St. Patrick's Day, y'all.